The Betty, no one understood. Let me ask you something. What if I told you that in 2005, the entire US housing market, the one thing every American believed was safe, solid, unshakable, was actually one giant ticking time bomb? And what if I told you that I bet everything I had on the collapse? Would you call me insane? Arrogant? Lucky? You wouldn't be the first. My name is Michael. I was a hedge fund manager. I liked numbers more than people. Still do. But I was good at one thing, finding cracks where others saw smooth marble. In 2005, I stumbled on a crack the size of a canyon. I was reading through mortgage bond data, yeah, real sexy stuff, and something didn't add up. The default rates were rising, the subprime loans were piling up, and everyone was ignoring it. Banks were slicing garbage loans into shiny packages and stamping them AAA rated like they were gold. But they weren't gold. They were dynamite. So I did something no one else was crazy enough to do. I bet against the entire housing market. How? By buying something called a credit default swap. Basically, insurance that pays out if a mortgage bond fails. The banks thought I was a joke. They sold me those swaps like candy. One banker even laughed in my face and said, "You're betting against America, pal." No, I was betting against stupidity. And stupidity was winning. My investors thought I lost my mind. Michael, you're putting millions into something you can't explain in under a minute? Yeah, because the truth wasn't supposed to be easy to explain. It was designed that way. See, Wall Street built a house of cards so complex, so tangled, that no one, not the bankers, not the regulators, not even the ratings agencies, really understood it, and they liked it that way. The more confusing it got, the more money they made. So I waited. Month after month. The housing market kept rising. I kept bleeding money. My team begged me to pull out. I didn't. Because I'd read the math, I'd seen the loan documents. People were buying third homes with no income, no jobs, no assets. They called them ninja loans. Yes, seriously, and the banks were giving them away like they were flyers on a college campus. Then one day, it started. Late payments, defaults, evictions, and still, the bonds were marked A-A. The banks were lying, holding the line, because if they admitted it, they'd have to pay. You want to know when I knew I was right? When a stripper in Vegas told me she had 5 houses, all financed with adjustable rate mortgages. 5. She thought she was an investor, but she was a spark on a fuse. The fuse was burning faster than anyone wanted to admit. And then, boom. 2008, Lehman Brothers collapsed. Markets crashed. Millions lost their homes, their jobs, their savings, and me? My fund made over $2.6 billion. I didn't celebrate. I didn't throw a party. I didn't smile, because I wasn't proud. You see, I didn't bet on suffering. I just saw the flood coming and built a boat while everyone else laughed. But here's the part that still keeps me up at night. No one went to jail, no big banker, no CEO. They got bailed out. They cashed bonuses, while the rest of the country stood in food lines. So when people say I won, I get it. But they don't understand. This wasn't about winning. It was about seeing the truth when no one else wanted to. About staring into a system so broken, so corrupt, that the only sane response was to go insane. The funny thing about a collapse is that it doesn't happen all at once. It's not a crash like in the movies. No glass shattering, no one screaming, "Sell!" It's quieter, colder, slower. At first, you see panic in a trader's eyes. Then, you see the screens, all red. Then the headlines start creeping in. Lehman Brothers files for bankruptcy. Markets in free fall. The worst crisis since the Great Depression. And suddenly, everyone stops laughing. The banks? They had no idea how deep the rot went. Turns out, when you build an entire financial system on lies, greed, and fantasy math, it only takes one spark to bring it all down. And I was that spark. My phone wouldn't stop ringing. Investors, journalists, other hedge funds, even the same bankers who called me crazy were now begging to understand how I saw it coming. They asked, "How did you know? Why didn't we see it? Are we too late? Too late?" The house was already on fire. People were losing homes, hundreds, then thousands, then millions. I saw entire neighborhoods boarded up, families gone, children standing on porches they used to call home. And I was making money off it. Now, here's the part that still eats at me. I told my team not to celebrate. No champagne, no bonuses, no victory speeches. Because this wasn't a victory. It was a funeral. And we were the ones who showed up in tuxedos. I tried warning people. I went to regulators. I wrote reports. You know what they said. Markets correct themselves. Housing is stable. The system works? Really? Then explain this. The same people who built the bomb got paid to clean up the mess. No one went to prison. The CEOs walked away with bonuses. The rating agencies? Still in business. The system never fixed itself. It just changed its clothes and started over. I thought things would change. I hoped they would. But I watched as Wall Street moved on, quickly, quietly. They repackaged risk, called it something new, and sold it again. The same game, different label. So where does that leave me? After the crash, I shut it all down. My fund, my office, my team. I moved out of the city, started working from a small room with no windows, just spreadsheets and silence, because while the world partied again, I still heard the echo, the whisper in the data, the warning signs they ignore again. Some people say I'm paranoid, that I don't trust the market, that I'm looking for ghosts. Well, maybe I am. Because once you see the machine from the inside, once you realize how fragile, how corrupt it really is, you can't unsee it. So now I just wait, I read, I watch, and when I see another crack, I'll bet against them. You can laugh, you can call me crazy. They all did. But remember this. The people who made the most money from the last crash were the ones who saw it coming. I didn't win, I survived, and I'll survive again. Because I don't bet with the crowd. I bet on the truth. And the truth is never popular. We may never meet again. This is the end of this story. Subscribe so you don't miss the next one.